want to find out a little bit more about Habitas Design Labs, as far as your my work in sustainability and what I'm doing with sustainable development and the things that I'm involved with that you're aware of. But your approach is really to pretty much leave no footprint that with the way that you're developing the hotel. So tell me a little bit more about Habitas Design Labs, about Kafir in this aspect of it, and where do you see where it is now and where do you intend to go with it?
The design labs has gone through several iterations. We kind of set up this home, this factory, and there's been some articles on us calling us 3D printing hotels and things like this. Wrong terminology, but essentially what we were trying to figure out is how do we have the least impact on the land that we're building on by showing up and essentially putting Lego pieces together that really have the least weight on the land. That has kind of skyrocketed into more of a kind of like R&D factory where we start understanding the technologies that exist in the world that are sort of on the fringe for definitely a hospitality brand. And but we find ourselves in a unique position to be able to take these risks and say, how do we have an off-grid hotel? Our brand allows us to do that because it's expected of the brand, right? And so since it's not expected of the brand to have marble bathtubs and big LED screens, it's TVs, we don't worry about that. So how do we actually take advantage of not having that responsibility to fulfill that brand? The way we do it is, how do we find new ways of building? And Kafir's been leading this initiative in a very big way, and he's finding that there are incredible technologies out there that just need people to make them happen. I mean, they're happening, but in a commercial way. And so the idea, moving forward with our hotels is that they're solar, water management is water and waste management are pretty much self-contained. It's all a process. Obviously, it's very difficult to build in this way at a commercial level in even municipalities that we exist in because they don't understand.
Yeah.
It's still 30 years ahead, even though it's not. But there's a play on that. So there's all these bit of obstacles that happen. Obviously, everybody wants to make it happen, but it's almost like, okay, who's gonna do it? And we are really kind of just putting our money where our mouth is and trying to make that happen. And it's extremely exciting because HDL now is the design is not just of the structure of the property or room or a restaurant of the hotel, but it's the design of how the logistics will actually happen, how the infrastructure of the hotel actually is designed. That's where HDL is moving into, and it's extremely exciting.
So I wanted to also, earlier on, I asked you a little bit about what it meant for you when you say live inspired. Live inspired is one of the quotes for the hotels. And when you walk into an Habitas hotel, it says live inspired. And you certainly provide inspiration to me, and I'm sure to a lot of other people out there. I have an idea that I know what you might say about this, but I want to hear from you as far as living inspired to you, what it means, and transmitting that into your work.
I think inspiration, when you're living inspired, when you have inspiration in your life on a daily basis, it triggers gratitude. You immediately, when you're inspired and you say, wow, how I am, this feeling that I'm feeling, where does it come from? And it's inevitable to say, wow, I am so thankful for this feeling, because it might take me to a piano, or might take me to a canvas, or might take me to a drawing board and design, and whatever it is, it triggers another thing that's extremely important in my opinion, to human existence, which is creativity. And everyone's creative, and everybody has the potential to be creative. If you're inspired, even more so. So when we used to say leave inspired. When Habitas was an event company and we used to do events before the hotel, our goal was we would have this big sign as you would drive off the property wherever we produced the event, and the sign would say, it's that, get home safe kind of thing. For us, it was leave inspired. And then when we realized that we would have a revolving door at the hotels, where it changed now, it wasn't an event, people leaving an event, now it was like a constant rotating door, we realized that it's not just about leaving inspired. It's actually you have to live inspired. The moment you walk in, the moment you arrive, to the moment you leave, you're not leaving inspired. You're already seeking inspiration in your life, and we hope that when you step foot in an Habitas, you are also leaving inspired, but have lived inspired.
Staying inspired, truly. Well, I can vouch that we certainly stay inspired for sure, and I can also relate to you when you say, what you're in gratitude. Like, for example, for me, nature is inspiration. It's I may be going through a difficult moment, and all of a sudden I'm in a beautiful place, like just looking at a tree, and that in itself is inspiration, and that keeps us moving forward. So I can relate to that. Now, tomorrow you're going to be performing at the Art With Me festival, and which is Tulum based but coming to Miami, and it's the overview effect that we're going to be highlighting on tomorrow. So tell us a little bit more about the overview effect and what that is, and what the show is going to be about tomorrow, and just expand on what it means to you. Thank you.
The overview effect is to me probably the most important. I can call it a concept, but it's essentially almost like a movement, like a philosophical moment in the history in our history, and I'm starting to see it surface and sort of start bubbling in different areas. The overview effect is a beautiful term coined by a wonderful human called Frank White. He calls himself a space philosopher. But he's much more than that, and he's had dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of interviews with astronauts, trying to understand what an astronaut experiences when they leave the planet and they go into space. And the overview effect is an astronaut shoots up into space. Moment that astronaut's in space, they look out the window and they see planet Earth, and everything changes. They have a very, very powerful moment of understanding and realizing their context, and everyone's context in this speck of dust in space. Exactly, the pale blue dot. So to me, this is sort of almost like a mantra where if we can all understand what this overview effect implies, and if we accept what it can invoke, then we sort of start seeing things with the same lens. And perhaps there could be a lot more action in the world with this concept. So I've taken the overview effect to, I've made it, I've kind of made it a version of my purpose. And the goal there is for it to be, I want to be able to create the overview effect, the same overview effect experience that an astronaut may have, to have it on Earth, through music, through conversation, through visuals of the beauty of this planet, and hopefully create these experiences immersed in nature, so that when even just looking around and breathing, you're feeling that, no? So the goal is to create that overview effect on Earth, and that's my focus now. With a lot of my shows, I interweave it into the performances.
Wonderful, beautiful. I'm looking forward to the performance tomorrow. Want to thank you, infinite gratitude to you and to the Habitas family, to Oliver and Kefir and Olmo, who's incredible. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the planet, and to inspire all of us, and to create awareness. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate the time to spend with us on this interview, and excited about tomorrow, and being able to get even more inspired. Living inspired completely. So thank you so much.